Hello, dear friends. Welcome to the East-West Show with G&E TV. My name is Jack. Today, once again, we're doing, how time flies. Once again, we're doing the weekly update. With me on the weekly update is my dear brother, my good friend, a political commentator. I call him sometime in between a philosopher and the instructor. I don't know.
I like that.
I don't know.
A thinker.
And who I argue with a lot. And we're friends. We're very close friends. And even though a little uncomfortable with the tooth work, right, dental work.
Yeah,
okay.
A little swollen.
Yeah, I see that you're putting together. All right,
Yeah.
good. So, Ken, welcome to the show.
Jack, no greater way to celebrate Veterans Day than to be with you, your viewers, in my American flag tie.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On the Veterans Day, we'd better start with, I hate to mention that we have so many terrorist attacks happening.
Yes.
Yeah. Last Friday at the church in Texas, Wilson County, 27 died, including a baby in the womb.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And lots of people got hurt, lots got injured.
Right.
Some are even on life support.
Yeah.
At this very moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can hardly imagine life all of a sudden ends up in a way like that, and the suffering in a way like that all of a sudden. To most of the folks, some of the folks who are injured, they're supposed to suffer the rest of their lives.
In a peaceful church.
Yeah. You want to join me in a moment of silence for those who unfortunately got hit and passed away, please. Thank you very much, Ken. You're so dear with me. You're with me every time.
Well, let me share one thing about that shooting, okay? On that same day, my 6-year-old granddaughter, Chloe, was baptized in a Baptist church here in California.
All right.
I saw it. It was beautiful. On the very same day, 27 Baptists down in Texas are slaughtered. So from the joy I felt of my granddaughter being baptized to the despair I felt of these people being slaughtered, hard to deal with.
Yeah, sure.
Hard to deal with.
Yesterday, I interviewed my good friend, Bob Lindsay, candidate for LA County Sheriff. And I was asking him that the American trust in God, the activities of going to church, would that be challenged? He said no. The answer was so strong. No, we'll never stop for a moment trusting God, believe in God, we'll be going. And he was thinking about what if we put some security guard with weapons.
They have them.
To guide the people.
A lot of churches do.
Yeah.
A lot of churches have ushers that are armed. They have people there. And you know, Christianity is under attack. I'm still trying to find out what % of Democrats are Christians and what % of Republicans are Christians. But you know, I say, you know, shout it out, shout it loud. I'm a Christian and I'm proud.
In terms of religious belief,
so don't get
and
sublimated.
Also, in terms of religious belief and the war of anti-terrorism, I don't think there is any partisanship involved. They're kind of well, you know, just they go by natural ratio, whatever ratio it is, right? Okay, that's not a subject for today.
Right.
And also another way to mark the day of Veteran Day with the loss, with the glories, tons of glories.
Yes.
We will probably pick up a bad example.
Right.
That's well Bergdahl.
Right.
Right. So I had a discussion with a friend of mine who came from Iraq, who was also a sergeant. Glory, with glory.
Great.
With glory, with lots of awards. Right.
Yep.
He kind of denounced that coward.
Well,
So what's your take?
well, over centuries of military activities in all countries, a traitor, and he did admit to being a traitor, is usually the death is usually what happens. A firing squad says goodbye.
Yeah.
And I'd volunteer to be on that.
Remember,
traitors,
you remember,
that's really bad.
Yeah. Remember President Donald Trump said that.
Yes, of course.
He deserved a death sentence,
He does.
right? because you abandoned your comrades.
And comrades looking for him, a couple were killed and several injured badly, looking for Bergdahl.
Yes, and among the injured, one lost his arm, the other lost his brain. The brain damage, he had to suffer the rest of his life, a brainless man.
That's pretty.
How about that? How about that?
Well, it's just
so
tragic.
And also, Cam, my dear father Cam, what hurts me most is the American glory. American glory meaning that we had him back at a cost of 5 detainees
Absolutely.
at Guantanamo Bay.
That was horrible.
That's a national cause to the most extent.
Yeah.
You will never know how much it had cost us to capture those 5.
That's right.
All right?
That's right.
You never know how much of the taxpayers' money to keep those 5 in their Guantanamo Bay detention.
And now they're back in the battlefield against us.
All right.
It's insanity.
And then that was put on the exchange for his life back to the United States. What have we got?
Nothing.
With the 5. With the exchange of 5, what have we got?
Well,
a traitor.
I'll tell you what we got.
A deserter.
We got a clear picture of President Obama's thoughts and beliefs about America, and because he had even that guy's parents come to the White House, and the guy, the dad's got his big beard and everything, and they're Muslims, and he gave him glory, and all of the administration said, oh, he served with honor and dignity. He did not. He's a traitor.
I personally have no problem how the father looks. I do have a problem.
No, I agree with that.
I do have a problem for a nation, for the life of a traitor. You put up that kind of a cost of 5 detainees from Guantanamo Bay for one traitor, one coward to be back home.
The deal itself was treasonous. To bring a traitor back here and give up 5 of the top leaders in ISIS that want us dead,
you're right,
is insanity.
And they are back home attacking us now.
Absolutely. We're at risk because of that. It made no sense.
They are picking up their guns and killing the Americans now.
Absolutely.
All right?
Yeah.
And that's what we deserve, Americans?
Well,
that's really a question.
Sometimes we're stupid.
On the Veterans Day, we have to tell our kids. That's a hard job to do. How are we going to explain our kids? You're going to put up a good deeds, because the good deeds are encouraged, right?
Oh, yeah.
Only bad deeds are punished. And now we're encouraging, we're glorifying a bad deal. The guy is famous now. The guy is popular now.
Well, I'm not saying he's popular, but I would like the Army judge to really try to rationalize and explain how he did not, after pleading guilty, deserve at least 20 years in prison. It is a travesty. Maybe the judge just dislikes Trump.
Not life, yes.
It might have been I just don't like Trump, so I'm not going to acknowledge that this guy's a traitor. But, you know, and you get a dishonorable discharge. That's a little slap on the hand.
I had this discussion with this sergeant came from Iraq, right? And he says,
I admire him.
He says, the moment he deserted, the moment he abandoned his comrades, he betrayed his.
Absolutely.
He betrayed the whole United States Army.
Yeah.
Right? And then for that, he deserved to be killed on the spot.
That's the traditional punishment for treason.
Yeah, the squad, on the battlefield, the squad is doing that.
Yeah.
They have a gun doing this.
Yeah,
right?
No, that's right.
You can't go back.
Yeah.
You can't, because, and also he says, you may, as a natural person, before joining the army, have a take of your own about the war. You may refuse to go, right?
Well, yeah.
However, you're in.
Voluntarily.
You're voluntarily.
Because it's full voluntary.
You're signed. You get the benefit and everything. You're in.
Yeah.
That's a contract. You can't betray.
Right.
All right. From a contractual point of view, and from a patriotic point of view, there's no way this guy can be excused. Do you think so?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know where he's going to go in America and get a job. I don't know where he's going to go in America and use his real name. I recommend he leave the country as soon as possible.
Yeah, if I had been the employer,
Yeah.
I would never hire anybody of
Ever.
that
Ever.
of that quality.
His name is mud right now.
I mean, now that he can betray a whole country, America as a whole country, he can betray me any moment.
Absolutely.
Right.
No, his lack of integrity and ethics is clear, and lack of patriotism, and he can't get a job. Not with that name.
No, not even patriotism. Not even patriotism. Even if you do not like your country, you still want to live like a man, right?
Well, you'd like to be admired.
You have to be man enough to stand to be confronted with
treason
whatever.
is also the ultimate in cowardice.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a treasonous coward. I don't want to be called that. I don't care what else you call me, but don't call me that.
A traitor for sure.
Right.
A traitor at least.
Right. Yeah.
Not treason. We don't know. We never know.
Well,
we never
a
know
traitor
what he did.
is treasonous.
We never know what he did during the captivation of the Taliban.
But I think it's irrelevant, okay? I think it's irrelevant. He went over there to try to join them and support them. And they don't just treat everybody real nice because you come over there.
That's a treason.
Yeah, of course
That's
it is.
treason.
So he's a traitor.
That's quite a treason.
Yeah,
All
total.
Right. Good. All right. Good. My dear friends, with my lovely brother Ken Hemming, we're starting this weekly update. Unfortunately, those two things to start with, in commemoration of Veterans Day, was not a very pleasant.
It wasn't optimistic.
Not very pleasant.
Right.
Yet it is necessary. It is quite necessary.
Very necessary.
Right, okay. Let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we pick up something very, very cheering up. Stay with us, please.
Oh, good.
Hello, my dear friend, my lovely audiences, ladies and gentlemen, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show. Starting this segment, Ken and I, on this weekly update, I call it the world, as you see, parentheses of the world. Now our President Trump is in China. He is meeting with Xi Jinping, President of China, right? So what have you heard so far about what they have done so far?
Well, it's really difficult when you have these time changes, because when he's doing things over there, we're asleep. That makes it difficult.
He's still there.
No, I know.
He will stay his last day at towards our closing time today, probably.
But anyway, it's just hard because you're not seeing it live, the activities. But the good news is he has been very graciously and wonderfully treated over there with, spent almost, look, I'm glad, the man's 70 years old, President Trump, and he walked around the Forbidden City for hours. Okay, so I mean, that poor guy, I've been there, I can't walk there hours.
Look at the welcome ceremony.
Fantastic.
Right? He had to walk on the red carpet like a soldier. Boom, 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 do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I really like to look at.
He acted much younger than his age.
He's a little overweight, and he admits it, but he's healthy.
Xi Jinping too. Xi Jinping is a little overweight.
He's 64 now. Trump's 70, I believe.
64?
Yeah, President Xi is 64, I believe.
Okay. And he probably looks his age. But Trump looks quite younger than his age.
Yeah, he does. And I'll tell you who the Chinese have enjoyed looking at is Melania Trump, our First Lady.
Oh, yeah.
Her style and she is just like
oh my God.
a breath of fresh air, okay? And she attended a couple events.
Whole China is talking about her.
Right, I would be too.
Whole China is talking about her.
Me too.
Especially the fashion industry.
Oh, absolutely.
The fashion industry, makeup industry. Yeah. All right, whatever.
Everything.
Anywhere.
But she represents us with dignity. She speaks 5 languages. I mean, are you kidding? And she's a wonderful representative.
However,
and for women's activities.
Yeah. Lots of people paying attention to the political front, as on top of all the issues, the North Korea nuclear issue is the issue.
It's the biggest,
right? Yeah. Do you think? We haven't heard any concrete deal yet, what they have really discussed, what they really plan to do. But to smell around, do you see anything has been already dealt with that they will follow Yeah,
President Trump stated that he thinks he and President Xi are on the same page and want North Korea to be demilitarized from nuclear weapons. And China can do it. They have the power, absolutely. It's all a question of will they do it. And Trump is asking for all the other countries in the region too to just stop doing business with them. Some people look, 2 million out of 22 to 24 million in North Korea have already starved to death. They don't have money.
There was a saying that over 90 or something % of their economy
is China trade.
Yes, between, I don't know how much China trade takes as a percentage, but a majority for sure.
Huge majority. I think
right?
it's
Huge
way
majority.
up there.
Absolute majority, at least, right? So, what China does, if I were Xi Jinping, I would do it in a way to say, okay, now I won't do it, all right? And watch him for a bit, and then step one. And then watch him a bit, step two.
Right.
And then watch him a
more
bit.
Pressure.
More and more and more, until to the point they all die.
And I'm kind of pleased that Rocket Man over there,
Rocket Man,
didn't do anything yet aggressive in militarily shoot off any rocket while Trump's over there. Everybody thought he might do something like that, but he hasn't. Now, and then one of the dreams that people are talking about now is that China, Russia, America, Japan, and South Korea would be able to get into negotiations to demilitarize North Korea. Let them stay there as a country, okay? We're not trying to get rid of their leader, which would be a nice thing. But what would happen if he's gone, I don't know.
But compared to the military attack, which was a big subject before, though, I believe that's quite necessary because you really want to do the deterring there.
It could still happen.
All right, you kind of rattle your thought, say, hey, here it is, like that, right? That's for rattling I can deal with. But for actual attack, though, that's not the first choice.
Well, it's not the first choice, it's the last choice.
Yeah, last
but
choice.
Also, it wouldn't be a first attack, it would be a response to something egregiously dangerous by North Korea. But also right now, nothing has been there. The North Korea is ruled by one man totally. Maybe sound of mind, maybe not. All right. Now, will he come to the table and talk? But what President Trump said in South Korea, a beautiful speech he gave to the South Korean parliament, and he said, "Do not try us.
Yeah,
do not think we will not do it.
Yeah, do not.
We will take care of you if you need it." And he's the first president we've had in a long time that means
I
it.
believe number one is quite necessary to go as a background. Okay, this is the wall you go against.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the wall. Solid wall. You're going to bump your head. You're going to kill yourself if you do so. Right?
I believe President.
The wall will not move forward. The wall stays there until he hits it.
Right.
How about that?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In the meantime, China, Russia, South Korea, Japan, United States, all the other five, pushing from around.
Right.
Okay.
Squeezing him.
Squeeze him. If you capitulate, bend over, and do the things we want to do, or there is a wall.
Right.
Something like that, right?
Right.
Okay. Now that said, the international concern also tilts a little bit to the fact or possibility, what if he goes suicidal actions? He chooses some suicidal actions.
He could.
He could, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to live. I want to die, all right? Do you see the terrorist attacks?
Right.
Those
they want
guys,
to die.
every single of them want to die.
Right.
And you can't prevent the fact that this guy could be one of those, right? And if he's willing to die, he want to die together. Okay, look at what's wrong with him. Now, you have American wall squeezing, right? Okay, you have the international
other countries
attacks to him.
Collaborated.
Right? Collaborated, and the trade cut off.
Right.
Supplies cut off, everything cut off. And also he has a bunch of betrayal people who dare say nothing, but from the bottom of their mind,
They like something different.
They know that's not.
Well,
he's
also,
the enemy.
one of North Korea's leaders' tactics is to give expensive presents to his key people to keep them loyal and happy and all that. You know, big expensive things, cars, you know, Rolexes, whatever. But now, with their trade being really severely limited, he can't do that anymore. And those officers, you know, they're used to being treated with power and glory, and if that diminishes, they might say we need a new leader.
All they needed is one that collaborates with from amongst them.
Yeah.
And they abandon them at the same time.
Right.
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 Action. One, two, three. Action.
Right.
Abandon him at the same time.
It'd be, yeah.
Right. If one goes forward, he might get killed. If all of them going forward at one time, 1, 2, 3, action, like that kind of thing, he's abandoned. So I'm talking about when he realizes, like Hitler, right? All right.
Finally did.
He might commit something suicidal.
He could, but see what happens now with all of their top officers that are treated very well. If one guy says something like, "Well, maybe we should think about changing our leader," then the other guy goes and tells, then this guy is eaten by dogs, you know, for punishment.
By dogs.
Or
blown
up by
cannonballs.
artillery. Yeah. Terrible. So it's so scary over there.
Yeah.
So scary. Every day is a gift.
Unless they kind of collaborate secretly amongst themselves.
But you have to keep it a good secret.
Underground, very much underground, and then 1, 2, 3, action.
Now,
one deal, take him off.
And I believe President Trump has convinced President Xi in China that we will do what is necessary if China doesn't help
Exactly like the
success.
Gannon 4 in China. Remember Gannon 4 in China?
Right.
And they collaborated amongst themselves. At the same time, they take action. All the 4 were captured.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Adios. Yeah.
Right? Adios. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Adios.
Okay, my dear friends, my lovely audiences, with Ken Hemming, my good friend, political commentator. Oh, by the way, Ken Hemming is not only a commentator, he is a book writer.
Thank you.
He's an author. He authored a book, Life is Simple, 100 Words to Live By, which is my Bible next to my pillow. I keep reading every day when I flip a few pages, right?
And I do too, Jack.
And that is a good book, and I believe that my audience, if you come across that book, probably take a look. It is very worth reading. So stay with us. We'll take a very short moment now. When we come back, we'll pick up something domestic.
Sure.
We have to talk about the trade, U.S.-China trade.
Well, they have signed $206 billion in new trade agreements in China during Trump's during Trump's visit.
Okay, we'll be right back. Hello, dear friends, my dear audiences, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West with G&E TV. Today is one of our weekly update and worldwide, and we, with my good friend Ken Hemming, a political commentator, a CPA for life. Oh,
yes, sir, absolutely.
By the way, he makes even much more money than I do after his retirement. And then
I live under a bridge.
Then I'm still working.
I live under a bridge.
Oh, come on. Now, you live above heaven, or how about that?
How's that?
Right. Yes. We thought we were done, but matter of fact, we were not.
Right.
We haven't touched about the trade part.
This is big.
The trade and the cooperation part thing. They have signed how many?
$206 billion is the last number I heard in new trade agreements.
200 what?
$206 billion.
No. 253.5.
Okay, then it's grown since
2535.
Okay.
235. No.
Keep signing.
No,
Keep signing.
253.
Okay. 0.5.
0.5 billion.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
And I haven't had a chance to study what it is and everything, but I'll certainly keep looking for that.
Better be something expensive.
Yeah, better be, yeah.
You know, if you're talking about sleepers, talking about sandals, or talking about gloves, or sunglasses, are gonna be shiploads after shiploads after shiploads of sunglasses.
You know, I've been fantasizing about one question, Jack, I want to ask you. You know, China has purchased a lot of American buildings, a lot of American corporations, and we can't do that in China. Why do we let that happen?
Now they
Help
can.
me.
Now they can. And it is right on the on this moment when you were talking about, when you were asking.
Yes, sir.
And they opened their stock exchange market.
Oh, China.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have a good news for you. Very good news. Let's see. I just read it this morning. Saying that I can't find it in a hurry, but
Sure.
but anyway, it says that they opened a certain part of their stock market so that you can get in, not that.
To American
but,
investors?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
But also you can invest in the ongoing objects or projects or programs.
Right, right.
Yeah. So things are getting better. China now, okay, here's the take, my take. I don't know if it's right or wrong. For example, automobile industry. Right? United States was or has been much advanced in that area.
Right.
So United States does not have a challenge if anybody exports their cars to the United States.
Well, Germany and Japan, our automobile industry has been pretty
But
well
less,
wiped out.
relatively less.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, China with their automobile industry still as a baby, they have to be alert and they have to be sensitive about imported cars. That being
Into China or into here?
In China.
Okay, okay.
Into China. Anybody wants to sell better cars to China, it hits the wall of protection. They want to protect themselves. It is quite natural, it is quite understood. Now, as it goes, as China develops, the sensitivity is becoming less and less and less necessary.
Because see, I know some brilliant Chinese people that make a lot of money exporting high-end cars somehow into China and making a big profit because they sell for very, very high.
But they sell at a semi-black market.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
It is not a nationally
It's not in a government office building.
recognize a program or so on and so forth. No.
Right.
They're doing in the
There's elements of
in
risk.
the black market or semi-black market.
Right.
The government, however, followed the trend with one eye closed to let it go because sooner or later things will happen that way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it like a flip of a paper or a page like this one day overnight. And when there is a trend or influx of foreign cars into the market, on the other hand, you're talking about protection is less and less and less necessary. Right? But along with their own growth of the automobile industry, they're getting better.
And remember this, when I was in Beijing, one of the days was when they opened the first Ferrari dealership in China, and they had 100 Ferraris cruising all around Beijing.
Sold right away.
With the noise, those Ferrari makes, it was like greatest party ever. Greatest party ever.
All right.
It was, and I just happened to be there. Hallelujah. It was really good for me.
And on the other hand, it is not everybody could afford Ferrari.
Oh, no, not many people.
So you're talking about high end.
Well, when you've got 1.4 billion people, a few people have money.
And for that part, China is still sensitive because China is trying to make high-end cars themselves. Someday, when it ends up to a situation, Chinese Ferraris is almost as good as Ferraris, and well, of course they will lose out.
Yeah, and then what I understand, I listened to some panel discussions, is that though when we want to open up a big factory over there, they won't let you put a brick down, not do anything unless you give them all of your technical information on your products and that. Now, I don't know if that's true. Several experts were saying that, but that we have to protect our technical superiority and expertise, and not let it. And what happens? The CEOs of corporations, they're so worried about next quarter's results that they're willing to risk the future of America by giving up some of our secrets, which is very sad. We don't think long term enough. Americans
not necessarily the case. Not necessarily the case. As far as I understand this kind of deals, because I was in quite a few interviews regarding the land for BYD. You know BYD?
Not offhand.
BYD of China.
Okay.
That is that finds a home in Antelope Valley, Los Angeles County.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. They produce their I mean, high-class, world top of the line batteries.
Okay.
And now in Los Angeles, in downtown Los Angeles, you see those kind of battery buses,
Okay, yeah.
public transit.
Right.
Right. They are made in China. No, made in Los Angeles, Antelope County,
Good.
by the BYD.
Okay.
Okay. Now, before BYD landed in Antelope County, our former supervisor Michael Antonovich,
Right.
and his wife, lovely wife,
Right.
Christine,
Chinese lady, yeah.
were involved pretty much in the negotiation.
Oh, okay.
I know them person to person,
Yeah.
so that's why I got my first-hand information to the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about checkpoint, right? Okay. For that project, the same thing. They check China from head to toe. I see your plans, your blueprint, everything. Off patent, not off patent, whatever. If secrecy documentation, whatever agreement necessary, go ahead and sign it. We want to take a look at it. That's it.
Okay.
The same thing. That is understood from the trade part because you always have a trade protection to concern about. United States too. I'm more interested in the fact that when they sign something with that big number, 253.5.
That's a lot of agreement. That's not one agreement. That's tons.
That's
yeah.
a lot.
Right.
That's a lot. I am even thinking about some forbidden fields areas. Do you think it's necessary sometime we could probably open up some corporations above us? Yeah, in the space, in the outer space.
Oh,
Space work.
anything can happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Space programs.
But I still obviously would prefer to have these new manufacturing facilities in America and not in China. And
I do that.
And we're trying
course.
to. Trump is trying to make it more desirable to stay in America.
Me, I'm in a better position.
Okay.
I'm happy if they are made in China because China was my motherland.
Right.
I am happy if they made in United States because the United States is my fatherland.
But we also do.
I'm happy whoever give me a cheaper price.
I'm not. I'm happier whatever protects my country more. I don't care about the money.
Yeah, no,
I really
do.
don't.
I do.
I know.
I do.
You do.
Okay.
I don't.
I know.
That's
Sometimes
cool.
you sing. When you and I both sing, you sing more beautifully than I do.
Not really.
You sing more beautifully than I do.
Well, you're
As
the
a
king.
taxpayer, making so much money limited,
Right.
I cared about price.
I care about money, but I care
Whoever
about my
could
country
offer me
first.
the more challenging price, more advantageous price, I go for it. All right. So okay. Now, my dear friends, let's take a short moment now.
We got to recover from this.
I can't help laughing. All right, my dear brother. He sometimes acts like a little boy.
Little
Come
sissy.
on. All right, good. We'll be right back, please. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West with G&E TV. Today on the weekly update, I have my good friend Ken Hamming once again with me to go one by one on those issues that we believe important for the past week. And also based upon the request from my audiences, they want to see monthly update.
Sure.
They say, hi, you guys have this weekly update. How about a monthly update? Putting all the 4 weeks together and choose to select among the 4 what's the most important for the month.
Well, the way the world is going right now, we need a daily update. Okay,
Very good.
That's my idea.
Yeah, daily update, weekly update.
I'll just
and
sleep
monthly
in my
update.
car out
Very
here.
good, very good, very good. All right, I like that kind of joke. Okay, now, next thing we have a Washington Post, the Senate GOP plan that would delay corporate tax cut. Why? Number 2, the protection of mortgage interest deduction. Can you give us, I know that's your area of expertise, can you give us some explanation about those, please?
Well, here's the main thing I'd like to highlight, okay? We are expecting the corporate rate to go from 35% to 20%. The House has that set up to be in effect in 2018. Now, the Senate, and I got to say something very generic, but very, very powerful. And that is, I think that the career politicians, the Republicans in the House and the Senate, rhinos, Republican in name only, that are not committed to pushing Donald Trump's agenda to reality, I think they're really still committed to trying to destroy him and keep him from achieving what all the people have elected him for. The power back to the people, away from the career politicians. And so they're going to do, I think, whatever they can to make it more difficult, if not impossible, to succeed. But what the Senate is saying, they want to wait one more year to move the corporate rate from 35% to 20%. If I was Donald Trump, I'd just tell him I won't sign it unless it's this year. I won't sign it. And then you guys go back to your constituents and see what they say to you. So, because it's very important to get the economy going faster, we've got to have these lower rates now. Now, the Senate also has in there that when you buy new equipment for your company, you can expense it all for tax purposes, not for accounting purposes, but in the year that you pay for it. Now that's big, because otherwise depreciation might be over 5 years or 10 years, the useful life of whatever it is you buy. Here you get the full tax benefit. It's like 65%. It's a big discount in what you're paying. So, and they say in the Senate there's complications with what they call reconciliation, to be able to have just 51 votes to pass the law versus 60, where you'd need Democrats to do that. But this has got people very upset. The stock market went down a couple hundred yesterday because of the possibility of 35 to 20% being delayed until 2019. That would be very, and Trump's powerful. I don't know what he's going to do, but I would say I won't sign it that way. So you guys go back home and tell your people what you failed to do again.
So the delaying for the year is only called for because there's discrepancies in the Senate House.
Well, it relates to getting the votes in the Senate.
All right, okay.
And see, here's the thing too, because there's something about you can't project more than 1.7 trillion more increase in our national debt, but yet in the last 8 years under the previous administration, we went from 10 to 20 trillion in debt, and nobody cried about that.
Could the delay
so it's all.
But the question on the other side is, could the delay be caused by the fact that after studying the situation or weighing all the votes, possible votes in the Senate?
Well, weighing the votes, yeah.
Yeah, weighing the votes, the GOPs will not get a majority.
Well, and you know what?
And you'd rather wait for another year until they work out with a vote.
What it means, Jack, is that
that'll be 2019.
No, that the 35 down to 20% would not happen until after the elections in 2018, the midterm elections, and that's really bad.
I know
for the country.
But in that case, when you do the midterm election first. Okay, that's scheduled there. You have no way to delay that. And then when it comes to vote on this one, though, it comes to after the midterm election. And then after the midterm election, there's also a little change of the positions, of numbers, of the balances between the partisanship.
That's correct. Yeah.
So you're talking about 2019, the GOPs might not, for sure, have the majority.
Well, see, here's what's happening. The people that support Trump, like myself, are completely dedicated to his agenda for bringing the power back to the people and away from Washington, D.C.
Right.
But
I understand.
Yeah, and that's great, okay? But there's there's great distrust in the Republican career politicians. Now, the career Democrat politicians, it's not distrust. They do very bad things, dishonesty, endorse violence, all of that stuff. So there's evil in that side. In my opinion, that's anti-American. But the Republicans want to keep, many of these Republicans in Congress and the Senate would rather have a Democratic president and keep their power away from the people and over the people than give it back to the people. That's the big problem. And those are very strong statements. I happen to believe them.
And also, there's another fact that we have to realize, that instead of having to fight against the Democrats
Right.
as the opposite, as the traditional opposite, GOP guys have to fight amongst themselves.
Right.
Right?
They're not unified, and it's
of course.
a tragedy.
You're talking about three parties, three groups of people forming the Senate House, and yet you want one idea, one ideology, one bill, whatever, to go majority to whoever. I don't think to whoever, regardless. I don't think that's an easy job.
Well,
right? There's going to be obstacles anyway.
Tremendous. Right in the Senate, you've got Susan Collins and John McCain that really are more Democratic than they are Republicans. And they don't really support.
Suppose if
it's
Democrats,
real sad.
Suppose if Democrats put up the thing, right, like this, or sort of like this, they will face the same situation again.
These same Republicans bowed down to everything Obama wanted to do in the last 8 years, and he got all kinds of things passed with the regulations and everything. They were very pathetic.
They have to deal with the Senate GOP on the left and the Senate GOP on the right themselves. So you're talking about three now. Okay, thing is that the three of them, have kind of come to an impasse.
Well, they're going to commit political suicide.
A deadlock, greenlock.
Yeah, if they don't support this for President Trump, but it's for the people, it's not for Trump. It's for us.
Unless something happens dramatically with the seat change.
Correct.
Right? In the coming midterm election.
Well, the thing that's happening is our economy is doing wonderfully. Unemployment's 4.1%, a 17-year low. The stock market's up 28.3%, since he was elected, and regulations are being really wiped out as fast as possible. And so there's so many good things happening that the media, the traditional media, does not cover.
I remember I asked you, from 35 to 20, the 15% cutting down, does that mean our revenue of income is reduced by 15%?
Well, let me tell you why I'm so happy you say that. I think the answer is no, because I think they'll be doing more business and they'll have a much higher tax thing. But the whole thing that they're not talking about, cut our government. Get rid of the waste. The waste in our government is worse than my personal waste in my own budget.
Remember
they're terrible. Cut the government.
Remember last time at the show, weekly update.
Cut the government.
You and I agreed to provide some numbers. So by cutting the 50%, how much is the income revenue for the government, for the whole United States, before and after? By doing that, probably we'll see better. Now we're talking about talking. You agree for the purpose of not agreeing. You disagree for the purpose of disagreeing. So it doesn't make sense at all.
Well, what makes sense to me is when you have lower tax rates, companies have more money to give raises to employees, to invest in their business. They'll be able to deduct it in that year, and there will be more revenue. Just back to the Reagan years, there are more revenues for the government. But I don't want them to have too many more because they waste a lot of it.
And the same thing happens to me. If somebody say, hey, there's a cut of a so on and so forth, whatever, right? And I'll say, I'll give them, this is the XYZ numbers I'm making on an annual basis. Tell me how much I'm paying before and after. How much I'm getting as net income before and after. That will convince me the most.
Well,
the GOP deal of tax cut or whatsoever, 20% or 20, 35%, doesn't mean the same to me because I don't see the total value, the total numbers.
That's okay.
Like last time, we agreed to suppose to get some numbers. We never get it.
Well, we don't even have the final plan yet. Let's get the final plan. That should be coming out real quick.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, my attitude, my belief, my soul, if it's good for the country, it's good for me. And so I don't put myself before
Yeah.
the country.
Yeah, sure. Same
If
thing
it's
to
good
me.
for
Same
the
thing happened to
country,
me.
it's good for me.
And even though you're singing beautifully, more beautiful than I am, I still agree
No.
that you and I are on the same boat.
We are. We're the
Very
same
good.
country.
Very good. Sorry for that.
We're co-citizens.
My dear friends, thank you very much for watching. Ken and I, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to agree and to disagree. To this technical thing, I will hold my vote until I see the exact numbers. Right? I will do that. I believe lots of my folks will do the same thing. So much for this week's weekly update, and we'll